What's the deal, family? Look, welcome back to the channel, man. Today, we got Piers Morgan, all right? We're talking about the female Andrew Tate. Pearl Davis on why she thinks women should not vote. Okay, man, look, this video, it's been popping into my homepage in and out for literally every day, probably the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks. And it's about Justpearlythings. If you're into like the red pill stuff or in the manosphere, the Andrew Tates of the world, the Fresh and Fits of the world, and many other people, many other guys like this, she is a part of that red pill community. She's actually one of the few females that is a part of that red pill community and talks about those same ideas and ideologies that coincide with the red pill community. All right, so they consider her the female Andrew Tate. And the reason being is because she throws out these very, very, very strong opinions that you typically would only hear from other red pillars in that community. And she stands on it. And she also has one of the biggest platforms of females. So they consider her the female Andrew Tate. She goes by Justpearlythings, but her real name is Pearl Davis. And we're going to check out this Piers Morgan interview. See what they got to say, see what they're going to discuss, see what they're going to talk about. If you guys end up liking this video and enjoying it, please let me know more videos you would like me to cover, more topics and things like that you want me to discuss. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, man.
So Pearl Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views on modern feminism. The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate. So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, well, Paul.
I ain't gonna lie, saying women shouldn't vote is a crazy take. That is a very extreme, wild take that I personally don't agree with. But I'm always interested to entertain an idea. But personally, I don't agree with that. I think that's an insane, very like archaic type of take on life right there. Let's go.
Joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you've be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young men.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to remove, just from yourself, the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not? No, it's true. It's true. You look it up.
At the time.
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say. But, you know, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
Well, what's that got to do with them having the vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have 2 votes.
Ava, your mouth seems to have dropped about
No, do you know when it's sort of
feet.
like,
I know.
No, it's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, you know, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which
My question is, do those stats actually directly correlate to voting? Right? Like, I'm not a political person. I'm not trying to even get into all of that. It's more so just hearing a woman have a take that women shouldn't vote. That's like me being a black person, right? Think about this. Real talk, real talk. Me being a black person, right? African American. Me being a black American. Imagine I came out. Imagine I came out with a video on tape, whatever. I just came out and said, this is why black people should not vote. And I started listing this. Oh, murder rates. Oh, gangster rap. Oh, this, that. And I just started listing outlandish things and statistics that would be a sign that we are not doing well as black people in America. And then turn around and say that's because we have the right to vote. And if you take that right to vote away from us, then we might end up being in a better place in the future. That sounds crazy. That is insane. You know how many people, black women and men, fought to even be able to vote so we can have a say-so in some of the things that either favor or don't favor us. And that's black men and women. I would never want to take that away. I can never even imagine that. So imagine me going out there and say, yeah, man, we can't do it no more. We gotta end that. We out here tripping, bro. They let everybody, let all the other races vote, but not us though. That would be insane. And so I feel the same way with her being a woman and saying women shouldn't vote. Like, you're not even thinking about your grandma, your great grandma, your great 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 grandma, if they were in America at that time, and them trying to get the right, them possibly fighting literally in those fights to vote in the old school feminist movement. So I'm just throwing that out there as a know your history kind of thing, and there's not always direct correlations to things, right? Like, I'm trying to think of the phrase and the word, and I can't think of it right now at the moment, but not everything is a direct correlation to just one thing. And that's going to fix all the other problems that are in the world or in that situation. So let's continue.
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean, at
allegedly.
The time, well, at
what
the
do you
time
mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were.
Write.
Yes, they
so
were. That's incorrect. The first female property. The first female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that would be inherited property.
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that inherited?
No, it wasn't. It was self-made. Yes, it was.
Self-made.
Yes, it was.
She never inherited land.
Yes, she did not inherit it.
What law permitted that? What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in history.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, a part of your message. I've researched you today. And hang on a minute.
Okay.
Your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say.
Correlation does not equal causation. Okay? Correlation does not equal causation. That's what I was trying to say. All right, just because something correlates and maybe makes sense doesn't mean that is direct cause.
But hang on, I haven't made the point yet. Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. How is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers. And they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men do all of that. Well, then, okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society. They're open, they're hiring, because I don't equate.
She said, hey, why don't you go pull up? Why don't you go run it up? You talking all that greasy, all that you talking real greasy out here. Why don't you go on ahead, go run it up? You got hands, you got arms, you got legs. Go run it up. You over here talking with me, you go hit the rigs. You don't want to do that either, huh? But it's hard to use that argument against somebody who is saying that women shouldn't vote. She not trying to be equal, obviously. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to be equal.
I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen. Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go be on the front lines of the military. And then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not. You said you were a volleyball.
Wow.
You said you were a volleyball player, and so you. I'm absolutely not. You said you were a volleyball.
Wow.
You said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think.
But
that
I don't have more strength. I don't have more strength than the average man.
I'm not going to take your right away to do it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be equal.
But you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate, and the average marriage
Why is that all
8
down to the
years.
women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
So why feminists?
You asked why I.
If you banned divorce, I would never get married. What the hell? You telling me I'm stuck? You telling me I'm stuck? Please. I'm sorry, but you can get over some. Yeah, man. I know they say you're supposed to work through the marriages and all that stuff, and I agree. You should, if you decide you want to get married, you should be able to work through as many problems as you can with that person that you're with. But there could also be a point where the problems or the etc., the issues that come up are way too much, and the only way to solve it is through a divorce. But you should exhaust all options of trying to fix the situation before you just divorce, especially if you're married. If you're not married, then it's a little different. But if you're married, you should exhaust all options before you separate, obviously. But you should still be able to separate. You can't just ban that. You just gotta have dudes who are more, I guess, selective about who they marry. It just is what it is, bro. It's the new age of the world, man. Social media and all these other different little aspects of the world that make women feel like they have just endless amounts of options forever and ever will have endless amounts of options. They can decide to initiate divorces as much as they want to, and men just have to be more understanding of who they're actually marrying. So somebody who actually loves you or loves the idea of you or just loves the position that you're in right now. And if you were to not have that position, would she still be in love with you and still be able to fight for that relationship and that marriage? Easier said than done, but that's just a part of the game. You gotta adapt.
I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish that first? So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married?
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by.
Hey, yo, Piers Morgan face right there. That's the exact face I had, cause that was a sniper. She was waiting on that, bro. She was in them trenches, had the ghillie suit on. You know what I'm saying? Had the little dial, had the spotter. The spotter said the wind was blowing about 2 miles per hour. 2 clicks to the right. 1 click up. Bow! Got him. Got him. That was good.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was. But, you know, we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think,
what is the...
Hang on. Okay, if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely. And
so she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but you can't...
You might not like them.
But I'm here to challenge...
Yo, this is a weird breakdown of the situation, because it's almost like the double-edged sword, like a never-ending like loop, because it's hard to argue with a female about feminism, because it's hard, right? It's like a black racist person. Right? Like, imagine a black person is acting, is saying these things that are almost like self-hate, but then also it's like you want to like, but you want them to be able to freely express themselves too, even though they're expressing self-hatred. It's like, what do you do with that? You can't do nothing with that. Interesting. This is interesting. Dynamic right here.
Isn't she exercising her right as a... Are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, you know, I wouldn't. Don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality, but you guys don't, I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering
I would actually love to see Ava Santana on an oil rig.
Seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me, I'm saying
the same job that I'm doing right now.
When you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
Yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live by.
How do you know you can keep them?
I mean, look,
exactly.
I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava, I've got to say...
She's saying facts right there. Some of her views are very insane, but there is a level of facts to some of the things she's saying. And there's also a level of what the hell are you talking about to some of the things she's saying, if I'm being honest.
It's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency, so I think that if a woman is going to look after her children in divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand...
I'd like to say, even before the 1920s,
do you know what I mean?
Women could speak openly. This idea that, like, women couldn't talk the last 500 years, there have been women throughout history...
the American state education system has failed before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history that have read, written, and been very influential in society.
Okay.
So this idea like women could never do it.
Do you know what I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, like, you know, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have abortions, you say that they have STDs. You know,
I mean, the question is, are they fat? Yes or no?
I mean, look, she ain't the most like. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's where she starts throwing me off. Because she starts... It's the pot calling the kettle black, bro. It's like, you want women... You telling women can't have 5 body count. I'm sure you got a 5 body count. You saying they got to be virgins? Well, you ain't got a virgin. They supposed to be married by 25. Well, you not married by 25. Like... Tell them to go work on an oil rig. Why you not on no oil rig? You know what I mean? That's what throws me off. It's like you saying these things, but and that's the difference between, I would say, like her and a Tate. A slight difference. There's nothing that I've seen where Andrew Tate preaches that he's not also like, he walks the walk. He talks the talk and then he walks the walk. If he says it, he's look like he doing it. You know what I mean? Versus with her, there's more cracks on that. There's more cracks in that, right? There's more cracks in the ceiling where there's more leaks in there where it's like, okay, well, you saying this, but you ain't really sturdy on that. you saying this, and you sturdy right there. You sturdy right there, but then you also saying this, and you got a bunch of cracks right there. Like, you not even following program on that. But you telling everybody else that they need to follow that program. So you're speaking on opinion, not on experience, and yet your opinion is in direct opposite to how your life is actually going. So are you speaking on this as a far in the sense of like, well, I fucked up, so I'm telling you this to help you guys out, so you don't have the same issues that I do. And I don't think she's ever came out and said something like that. So if she did, it'd be a lot more respect to it. Like, okay, you messed up here, and you see where you messed up, so now you're giving out the game so that somebody else doesn't go, so somebody else can have a better life, or women can have a better life, or, you know, have a better situation. But you kind of just saying it to just kind of shit on them, but you also in some of these same situations too. So, food for
the
thought.
average American woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body positive thing, and it is complete nonsense. So actually, on that point again, there's
Pierre's rocking with Pearl, and I agree too. People definitely overweight.
There's a bit of truth in
and
that.
This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive?
Well,
it's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid obese. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She
I mean, like, I don't know what to say. Hey. We don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say.
I love the honesty, though.
Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
Okay, I'm going to have to objectively...
And she insulted me first. They always do.
I'm going to have to objectively end the debate, but it was an interesting conversation. I think we should get you two back together as a matter of urgency. Thank you very much, Pearl.
Wow. Hey, you know what? The whole time I was thinking Pearl was just going to get destroyed, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. She did get... Hey, she did look a little crazy in a couple of points. They both made points. The whole thing is just about, you know, some of the things that Pearl says about women shouldn't vote and banning divorce. I think that's crazy. It's a little way too extreme for me. But some of the ideologies that she was speaking on, I can agree with. Just like Piers, man. You can't. Not everything is just black and white. And that's the problem. I just did a reaction to the Andrew Tate, Adam 22, Aiden Ross live. Not everything is black and white. Like, there's nuance to everything. And to be able to understand that nuance is a sign of, I would say, a sign of wisdom, right, and maturity. And not everything is just, I'm on this side, so everything on that side is wrong. Or I'm on that side, so everything on this side is wrong. You got to be able to understand the nuances all through in between that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, man. Hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this. Any other topics you want me to cover. I believe Pearl was just on another Piers Morgan. Let me see. Yeah, so she was literally just on. They dropped a day ago. If you guys want me to cover that one as well and throw out my reaction to that one or the Ice Cube one, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Remember to keep it real, real's rare, and real always reaches everyone. See y'all next time. Peace.